Hello everyone, welcome to part 3 of the Art Impressions Valentine's Journal. This is the center page that we're going to be working on. We're going to be doing these two pages. We finished this one in the last tutorial, so we're going to be doing these watercolor projects, the little cake and the cupcake, the little balloon, and then of course the little house. So let me show you what we're going to be using to complete these projects. So foliage set 4, we're going to be using the small little vine, the little branch from the branches set, and the little cottage and easel set 5570. We're going to be using that one. And then in the sentiments, we're going to be using some of these sentiments. Now I used Friends Forever, but there are a lot that you could choose from that you could add into your journal. This is a brand new one, 5722. This is the birthday journal set. We're going to be using the little cake right here, and then in the Lovable Animals, whoops, forgot one. In the Lovable Animals clear sets, we're going to be using the little cupcake right here that goes with this. And then this in the flowers, I guess we don't need that one. We do need this one, and that is the little grass that we'll be using in the foliage set 4051. So here are the markers, and actually these are the markers that we will be using throughout this entire journal. So I'm just going to give it all to you right now, and then just hold these markers out because these are the ones that we're going to be using on every page. So 565, 885, 743, 969, 249, 947, and bright pink 725. And then we'll be using our number 4 and number 1 brush and our P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. So we'll be using all of those things to finish up this journal. We'll do the watercolor projects first, and then we will go on. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we'll be using this balloon in that birthday set too. So this one right here, we're going to be using that little birthday one. And we'll be completing the rest of the center page of the journal. And then once we finish the watercolor, we'll go on to assemble, and then I'll go over more detail about what dies I used and how to cut these all out. So let's get going. Okay, you can see that I have pre-stamped my image onto my watercolor paper. Here's my basic image. These are all the little pieces that are going to go into the center page. So there's several little ones, a couple of little cupcakes and a little cake. And then, of course, our little heart balloons that are going to be going on this page here. So we're going to get to all of these. I'm just going to move these little ones aside, and we'll start out with a little house. And I'm going to start out by just dipping my brush in water. So my number 4 brush, and just start by pulling the color out of the lines. So just kind of dragging it out just like this, especially in these areas where there would be a shadow or an overhang. Just kind of inside these little windows and under here and on the sides of this little canopy and inside this door. So this is just kind of the first step, and we're going to add more color to it kind of as we go along. Okay, so we're going to start out by adding some color now to this little house. So I'm going to put some color onto my palette, some pink and some red. This is the 885 red, and that was the 743 pink. And I'm going to add some green onto here, so the 249 green. I'm going to add this color. And then we're going to get started. So we're going to start out by adding some color now to the house. Whoops. Let me just put a little bit more pink on here and some dark blue. So this is the 565, the dark blue. We're going to use this for the shadow. Okay, I think we're ready. So let's start out by adding some color to the roof. We're going to do that with the green. We're going to use this really cool green, and we're going to just add this color to the roof. Just brush it on. Now these are, flat surfaces, so it's not as important to worry about highlights with these areas. The only thing that you really have to think about is you never want to color clear to the edge, of a structure like this. You want to just leave a little highlight at the very top. That's just a really good rule of thumb. That's kind of where the light would be bouncing off the top. And we don't want to color all the way to the edge. Okay, let's put a little bit now over on this side of the roof. And this side actually would be a little bit darker because it's more in the shade. See, like that. And then over here on this overhang, we could make that a little bit darker as well. Okay, let's add some blue now for some shadows. So we're going to add some blue right in here on this side. So this whole side of the roof and of the little structure is going to be in the shade. So all of this can be a little bit darker like that. And this also on the side of this dormer, that would also be darker. Under here, under this overhang, and actually that would be much bigger shadow under here. Under here. And then inside this little doorway. That would be a little bit darker. Okay, we're going to add some pink now to this little dormer. And just kind of brighten up this little cottage. Like a little Valentine's bakery. And just, you know, keep adding it as, you know, dark as you want it to be. So if you really like this, you know, darker pink, just keep adding that color until it's as dark as you want it to be. Okay, so now I'm gonna just let that dry just for a little bit. I'm gonna go on to the red and do this little chimney here. And this is going to be much darker over here on the side as well. And we can just add some little details in here to where it kind of looks like little bricks on this chimney. Okay, I'm going to switch out my brush and find my little brush, and I'm going to add just a little shadow to the side of this little awning and a little bit up here. And then I'm going to add my little stripes to it. And I'm going to do that with the red. So for me, it's easier just to start in the center because that stripe would be straight down. So just like that. And then just kind of split the difference. And then one in between and one in between. And if they're not, you know, all perfect, it's okay. Of all the times I've added stripes to these, I don't think I've ever gotten them perfect. And I never worry about that. I just never do. It's really not a big deal. And I think it's actually cuter if they're just a little bit off. It looks a little more quaint and, you know, a little more homey. if that's actually a word. So again, straight down the middle for this one. Over to the side from the center. Like so. And then just kind of split the difference in between. And then just all the way over here on the edge. And let's just do that one more time, make that just a little bit darker. Okay, so cute. We are getting there with this little cottage. Okay, I'm going to add some color now to the door, and I think I'm just going to make that a warm brown. And that is this color, the 947. I'm gonna switch back to my bigger brush. And I'm just going to brush this color in here. And just make that pretty light, just like that. Okay, so now let's go on. This is pretty much dry here, this little awning. So let's go on and let's do our little window treatments. So we're gonna make some little squares and just do this with your brush. And again, you know, if these aren't perfect, it's totally fine. It honestly is. This second little row is going to come up a little higher because it's going to be under this overhang. And we're just gonna, it's gonna just kind of look like these little window panes just keep going up. And then let's do this one up here. So maybe we just do something like this. You can do them however you want in these windows. Now I'm going to come back in here with this really dark overhang. This inside the door, this is going to be pretty dark in here where that little shadow would be. This in here, that's going to be pretty dark. And actually under here, we can just put a dark line right under there. The shadows, you know, they're really not that stressful. I mean, it can be a little bit intimidating, but really it's just a few areas that you want to be sure to get, you know, especially on a roof, you know, wherever there's an overhang like that, in a doorway, under a window, those types of areas. And if you hit those, you're pretty good. All right, I'm going to take my little twin tone. I'm going to put my little door handle back in and maybe a little keyhole up there. And I'm just going to go back over the little awning and get this detail back in. And then up here in the roof, you know, that would be really dark up in that corner. Same over here. That would be really dark up there too. Okay, that looks pretty cute. I'm going to add some detail now to this little dormer. So I'm going to switch out my brush and get my little one and go back into my pink and just make some little little details. Cute, that looks good. Like it. And I think that's pretty good for the little house. So let's go on and do some foliage around it. We're going to use that same green. And I'm going to use this little branch and just kind of grow this up a little bit here. And the same over here. And just add a little foliage to it. So this little branch right here, this little leaf, just going to kind of extend it like that. And just kind of stamp this wherever you want to stamp it. Looks like a little mini tree. And then I'm going to go back to my number 4 brush and just kind of soften this up. Just like so. And let's add a little grass to the front using that same green. And we'll just add a little bit like this and a little bit over here. And using my little tiny brush again, I'm just going to kind of pull this color up, just up and out. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this blue and green, using my number 4 brush again, a little bit of this blue and green, just really lightly, and I'm just going to make some little stones here. Just, you know, some, you know, kind of odd shaped, just little stones that looks like a little path. And really that's all we have to do for that. A little shadow under there, a little shadow under here. Okay, I think this little project is finished. We just need to sign it, because we signed all of our projects. I'm still getting used to writing 2023 on mine. You know what? Let's do a little sky. I kept looking at it thinking there was just something that I was missing, and I think a little sky will be just perfect. So we're just going to add some of this blue. And you know, I just kind of put my, dip my brush in the color, and then I just push it around. And just kind of let it be. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's just do a little detail on this door too. Okay, and I think a little dark shadow under there. All right, I think that little house is finished. So let's go on to our other little images, and then we're gonna put all of these into the journal. And actually, we're gonna do the white paint too. So I'm just gonna set it aside and we'll do the white paint on all of them together. All right, let's start with, let's do our little treats here. We've got our little cupcakes and a little cake. Now on the cake, I just left the candle off of it. This is from the birthday set, and I just left the candle off of it. So when I stamped it, and I stamped it in the 2 colors. So the little house, I stamped that in the 2 colors, and I stamped all of these in the 2 colors. So that just means the dark blue first, 565, and then the dark brown, 969, and then stamp it off twice. Stamp all of them off twice. All right, so let's start out with this little cake. And we're just pulling this color out of the lines, just kind of dragging it down. Same with this one. And we're gonna wait on this one because we're gonna do something a little different with this little cupcake. So let's go on to this one. We're gonna add some frosting, and I think some pink frosting on here would just be so good. And leave some white spots. Make it look really fluffy if you do that. And just kind of brush it in. And then I'm going to take some of this this light brown, this 947, and we're going to make a chocolate cake. And just color this in right here, like so. And then let's just leave the little dish, the little tray that it's sitting on, let's just leave that white. So we can just do a little blue shadow kind of under here and leave that white. And then I'm just going to go back under here, a little darker pink. Okay, and that looks pretty good. So we're going to do something on here. We're going to add a little, let me find my pencil here. We're going to add a little heart onto the top. And we're going to do it with a pencil because a pencil can be erased. So just like that, just a cute little heart right in the center. And then I'm going to take my little brush and color that in. And I want that pretty dark, so I'm going to just do another coat on it. Like so. Isn't that cute? And then we're going to take the bullet tip of the red. So this is the red, the 885 red. And we're just going to make some little little lines in here, like little confetti. And put these in here just like that. And really darken this little heart. How cute that is. And then we can take the little twin tone and we can just kind of go underneath the little icing under here, and then just a few little dots for crumbs. Okay, we've got this one done, so let's move that one over. And then let's get to our little cupcakes. So this one, we're going to leave the frosting white on this one. And then we're going to do the little cupcake holder. We're going to do that in red. So I'm using my number 4 brush. And I'm just going to brush this on. Just straight on. Stay in each section though. Just like that. Clean out your brush really well after red because it likes to just stay on there. And then we're going to just come around with the blue. And just create a little shadow under here. And the same up here in this little area here. Where that little cupcake is. Switch back over to the brown. And we're going to make this cupcake chocolate. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to make this pretty dark. Right underneath there. And then I can come back in with the pink and color these little candies that are on top. And we can do the same thing again with like we did on the little cake. Put these little red treats on here. And then on this cupcake, we're just going to go around here like this. And then down in between, just make some dark lines like this. Just right in between like that. And I'm just going to go a little darker on these little candies on top. And the blue right underneath that That looks so good. Okay, so that one is finished. We're going to set that one aside. And then let's do this little one. And this one we're going to change up a little bit. So this area here on the very top, we're just going to make that a little circle. We're just going to kind of continue this around, just like this with a pencil. And we're going to make that a little cherry on top, just like that. And then we're going to bring the frosting over just a little higher. And this will all wash out in here. And then we'll erase the pencil when we're finished, okay? So we're gonna make the icing. We're gonna make it blue. We're gonna add some blue to it, so the icing is gonna be white. And we're gonna add this little blue line. Same up here, just like we did before. And then let's make the cake. Let's make the cake cherry, so pink. Just kind of follow these little lines here. You can just change these up so much. They're really fun to color because you can change out the candy color, you can change out the cupcake color, of course the icing. They're really fun, and they all look different, even though it's the same stamp, which is really the best part of it. So now we're going to go into the red, and we're going to do this little cherry up here. Leave a little highlight in there, and then we're going to do the little cupcake. We're going to do this in the green. I'm gonna switch out to my bigger brush. You just kind of want to have a brush in each hand, really, because I switch back and forth so often now, you know, because there's so many little tiny areas, but you know, in the bigger areas, the bigger brush works better. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm switching back over again, back over to the pink. In here, and then we're going to use that bullet tip on the green just like we did before, and just kind of go along the top and then down the sides and then down the center. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this pink and just go right underneath. Just like so. And how about some red candies again? I just love making these. They're just so fun. Okay, there we go. So let's do the little stem on that cherry. And we're just going to use the brown twin tone. So just like that, just a little stem on there. And then as soon as that's dry, we know that that's dry, we can just erase it. Erase this pencil line. And this pencil line. Most of the time, you know, when you're doing these little modifications, the pencil line really just kind of disappears into the ink. So you don't really have to ever erase anything. There we go. How cute are those little cupcakes, little cakes? So let's set these aside. And then let's go on to our balloons, our little balloons. And let's do one pink one. Let's do one red one. And let's just do something like this, where maybe we just color the top. Leave just a little highlight on there. And maybe on this one, we just color the whole thing. You can see I left a little highlight at the very top of the balloon. And we're going to use a die to cut these out. So if you get a little color on the outside, it's okay. The die will just cut that off. We're going to pop these out. So maybe this one, we just make a little two-tone. There we go, how cute. And maybe we just put some stripes on here. There we go. Okay, so now let's add some white paint. I want to move all of this out of the way so we can add some white paint onto here. And that is our Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I'm going to use my tiny little brush. So let me get all of this back into the center here. And let's start out with the little house. And I'm just going to add some little white blooms onto my little trees here. Got some little flowers blooming on there. And just a little light edge on the top of the roof and on the little chimney. And I just take it right out of the jar. And if you notice, you can't spread it, you know, it's not smooth. Just add a little tiny bit of water to it, and that will take care of it. Okay, we got that one done. So let's move that one over. This one, we've got a little highlight on here already, so we don't really have to do too much with this one. And this one, maybe let's add just a little detail to this heart. Make that really cute. And maybe just, you know, some little white candies in here. And this one looks pretty good. Maybe we just add a little highlight to these little candies. And then our balloons. So let's just do a little stripe and maybe some little dots. And maybe a little stripe up here. And some little dots down here. You can just decorate these however you want. They're so fun. Okay, I think that's good. We will be ready now to add these to our journal. So that will be the next step. Okay, everyone, we are ready to move on to the center page now of our journal. We finished up the cover and all of these pages on the inside. They turned out so cute. And we are ready to move on now to the center of the journal. So I'm going to just move all of my pieces that I've cut out of the way so that we can spread this out since we are in the center. The first thing that we're going to do is add our accent papers to the pages. And let's start out with the center page. Now, this little die is from this new die set that also has these little bookmarks. It is this one right here, so this one, and it's the same, the middle page is the same size as the cover, so it just works perfectly for inside your cover to do your center page. So you want to center it in between the score lines. So there's the score line there and the score line there. So we want to kind of center it right in between, and that's where I'm going to glue it, right in there. It just works great. And, you know, to be able to layer things on top of each other, these new dies are just, they're so great. I absolutely love them. Okay, so I'm going to just center that right in the middle. Bring that down just a little bit. That looks pretty good and pretty centered there. Maybe just a little bit. Okay, and then let's do the other page, and I'm going to match this one. So the same one that I did here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to glue in these pages now. And this one is going to go the reverse. So we're going to just glue this page right along the score line here. So this one right here, and we're just going to glue that edge just right along. So kind of the opposite of how we've been gluing it. And, you know, these are going to go in the same way from the back side. So they're going to go in like this as we go. And then we're going to do this one here. And you know what? It's probably easier. Let's just do it this way. It's probably easier to just do it like this. So we're going to just go ahead and just put all of our pages in now. Start out with it right next to the score line, just like we did before with the other ones. Just start out just like this. This glue dries really quickly, so we'll be able to just do the next page right next to it. This is going to be easier to line up. Now you can, if you want to, you can just glue that next page in right along the score line, but I just feel like this might be a little bit easier. So let's do our next page, and we're going to just add our glue to this page too. And it's going to just glue in just right up next to the other page. And just kind of press that down, make sure it's right up next to it. And then of course, just right along the edge here too. So we'll get that one in, press that down. And now we can glue the other one in right behind it. So it's going to go in right here. And now we're going to have lots of room in between to add our things that are three-dimensional. Add our glue on here. And we'll just glue that right next to that one. And we've got all of our pages in now. There we go. And now we've got space here. Whoops. Move that too soon. Make sure that's really in there good. There we go. Now we've got all of our pages in, and we've got space here between the score lines so that we can add anything that we want that might be a little three-dimensional, like our little girl right here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and glue in our little cottage that we made. So cute, and we're just going to glue this kind of right into the center. And that is going to be good right about there. That is great. Now, when I cut this out, I just used my, my little accent piece like this, and I just cut the whole thing out with this, and then I added this decorative edge to it. And that worked really well. Okay, so now on this side, we're going to go ahead and glue this one in so that it kind of matches the other side. So let's add some glue to this one. And just kind of center that in the page, just like we did the other one. Center that right on there. And kind of line them up so that they're all kind of the same. And then we've got our little cupcakes. So we made 2 cupcakes and a little cake. And I opted to change that up a little bit. We made 2 cupcakes, but I saved one for the next page. I felt like it was just a little crowded on here. And so I changed that up a little bit. And like I said, you know what? Every time I do these, I make some change to it. So I you will probably do the same. And you know, you'll be following my directions and you know what I'm telling you to do, and then you'll be like, you know what, I think I'm going to change that up. So you're totally free to do that. I give you full permission and freedom to change up anything you want to change up in these journals. Okay, I cut another little decorative piece and I just put this on my page right in the center. And I used this new, this little die from the new set. It's not this one, but it's the one that has the other scallop. So it's, let me show you one here. It's this one right here. And it's just perfect for a little layering piece like this. And I just ran it right down the center. And then I just decided to put a little envelope here. I love these little envelopes because you can write little personal notes in them. And I'm just going to put that right in the center of this. And I just, you know, put a little tag in it. So you can just make it personal, make it your own. And then we can now put our little, the little cake and the little cupcake in between here. I just think that turned out way cuter. So let's just add a little glue to this one. And just kind of center it in between that envelope and the bottom. And the same with this one. So you'll be seeing that cupcake in the next pages. I just moved it to another page. Okay, I think that is just so cute. And we're gonna add our little balloon. We did 2 of these little balloons, but you could add both or you could keep one for another page too. I'm just gonna put that right up here. And we can add, if we use our little twin tone, we can just add a little decorative string to it, like it's just kind of floating off into space. And then you can add a little sentiment down here. So maybe you want a little banner or something down here that you could just add. That would be really cute. A little separate little message. You've got this little one here, but maybe you want to put a little banner down here and make something else personal. Like, you know, how about a coffee date, or how about, you know, meeting for dessert or something like that would be really cute in there, in this one. So we are finished now with the center page. So let's go on, and in the next tutorial, we'll be going on to this page and moving on from there.